Hello friends, in this session I am solving some of the problems, doubts sent by students. Mainly the doubts are on simple and compound interest. So let's take the problems one by one. Here, the interest received on a principal of rupees 500 for 2 years, we have to find if the interest received on rupees 1 after 5 years at the same rate of simple interest is rupees 50. Now on 1 rupee it is rupees 50 paisa. That means on 100 rupees it is 50 rupees. That means what is happening, 50% money is you are getting as interest after 5 years, right? That means now simple interest remains same throughout the tenure, right? Every year you'll be getting the same rate of same amount on as a simple interest, right? Now you are getting 50 rupees as simple interest in 5 years. That means every year you are getting 10 rupees, right? So what will be the interest rate on 10 rupees on 100 rupees? That is 10%. So the interest rate is 10% per annum. Okay, that's pretty simple. So 10% per annum, and we are asked about the interest on rupees 500 for 2 years. So 10% for first year, 10% for second year, total 20%. So 20% of 500, that is rupees 100, will be the interest amount received on this principal. Okay, so that's pretty simple. No need to go for any paperwork if you are conceptually clear. Okay, you need to be clear that simple interest remains same every year, right? In this case it is rupees 10 per year. That means 10% per annum. Okay, now this question, if a sum of money at simple interest amount to rupees 2500 in 4 years and 2750 in 5 years, what will be that sum? Now once again a simple question. See, from 4 year to 5 year, in just 1 year rupees 250 is being added. That is nothing but the simple interest, right? So simple interest is what? 250 rupees per annum, right? Now in 4 year this is the amount. Okay, so we can find out the principal. Per year 250 rupees is the simple interest. So for 4 years the simple interest will be 1000 rupees. That means the amount 2500 includes principal and simple interest both as well. So simple interest is 1000. That means the principal will be 1500, right? No need to go for any sort of paperwork. It is a simple problem. I hope it's clear to you. Now friends, let's see this problem. Here, at what rate of simple interest per annum can an amount of rupees 1553.40 be obtained on the principal amount of rupees 8630 after 3 years? See, 1553.40 is being obtained as a as simple interest, right? This is actually simple interest for 3 years, right? So 1/3 of this will be the simple interest per annum. Okay, now see what is happening. Approximately it is 1554. So per annum interest will be 3 5s are and 18, 518 rupees, right? Now you can easily see that 518 rupees is less than 10%. Okay, so your interest rate will be less than 10%. All the options are less than 10, no problem. Now you can start working from this 8630, and 7% of 8000 will be even 560, right? So 8630, 7% will be more than 560, so this option is eliminated, right? Now 8630, 5% will be 4315 something, right? So that's more than that. That means the interest rate is between 5 to 7, right? We don't have any option between 5 to 7. Maybe it is 6 or maybe it is a fraction. We don't have to calculate that. The option is none of these. Okay, so no need to go for any sort of paperwork. I hope you are clear. Now see this problem. Miss Maya deposits an amount of rupees 17,800 and obtained rupees 31684 at the end of 6 years. What was the rate of interest per annum? Now see what is happening over here. 17,800 rupees were deposited, and at the end of 6 years this amount is obtained, right? So the difference between this and this will give you the simple interest for 6 years, right? So that's 4 8 30 minus 17, 30, right? So 13884 is the simple interest that accrued in 6 years, right? Now 17,800 into 6 into R by 100. So this is precisely the calculation that we have to do, okay? Now you can even go by option. You can make the calculation as you wish. R, see, this is an even number, so R should not end at 5 because it will produce 0, and left hand side we have unit digit as 4. So this option and this option, both of them are eliminated. Okay. Now one step ahead. Let's see for 11. R cannot be 11 because if R is 11, that means this number must be multiple of 11, because if 178 into 6 into 11, this will definitely be multiple of 11, but this number is not multiple of 11. That you can see 8 and 4 12 and 1 13 and minus 11, so this difference is 2, so that number is not multiple of 11, so 11 is also eliminated. Now we are left with 13. So put 13 over here. Just you try to match that unit digit. 8 into 6, 48, that means 8 into 3, 24. The unit digit matches, and apart from that you can cross verify it by taking digital root. Okay, so that's 8 and 1 9, 8 and 3 11, that means 2 plus 4 6, digital root this side, and 8 and 7 15, 16 7 into 6 42, that is 6 into 4 24, digital root is 6 this side. Okay, so this way you can solve the problem very easily, and if you wish to go for the calculation, you can divide this expression by or you can simplify this expression by taking factors of 178 and 6. Okay, anyways you can go, but the problem should not take more than 40 seconds to solve. Now the same question once again. Miss Neelam deposits an amount of rupees 16420 and obtained rupees 25451 at the end of 5 years. What was the rate of interest per annum? Right. So first of all, we find out the total interest obtained in 5 years. So it's 1 minus 0, 1, then 3, then 0, 25 minus 69. 9031 is the interest that accrued in 5 years, and that is 16420 into 5 into R by 100. Right? I take 2 from here, and this will be cancelled. Okay? Now the problem becomes very easy. You want unit digit to be 1, so that's not possible in this case, in this case, in this case, right? 11% must be the correct answer because this number is also multiple of 11. 9 and 3, 12, minus 1, it's 11. And you can see around or 821 into 11 will be 9031. Okay, you can get a round idea also. 10% is 82. That means 10 times 8210 and plus further 821, so that's 9031. Okay, so that's pretty simple. I hope that's clear to you, and it should even not take more than 40 seconds to solve. Now, Asmita invests an amount of rupees 9535 at the rate of 4% per annum to obtain a total amount of rupees 11442 on simple interest after a certain period. Find how many years did she invest the amount to obtain the total sum. Once again, we find out the interest amount. So 11442 minus 9535. So that is 1907. Now easily you can see 1907 into 5 is 9535, right? So that will be very easy to solve. So 1907 is equal to 9535, that is P into R is 4, D we have to find out by 100, right? So time is 5 years, right? Now this question, Mr. Sharma takes loan of rupees 25,000 and repays an amount of rupees 31,000 at the end of 2 years. What is the rate of simple interest at which he repays the loan? In 2 years, he is repaying 6,000 more. That means the interest per annum is 3,000, right? So we have to find out 3,000 that is 3,000 rupees is the interest for 25,000 rupees principal, right? So that's pretty simple. That's 12% per annum. That is 25 into 12, or we can say 2,500. I'm sorry, 250 into 12 is 3,000, right? So verbally you can do, no need to go for any sort of paperwork. I repeat once again, 25,000, 31,000, the difference is 6,000. In 2 years, that means the simple interest per annum is 3,000. So 23,000 is 12% of 25,000. 25 into 12 is 300, 300. So that can be easily solved, right? So your answer is 12%. Now, the interest rate of a private bank is 12% per annum. A customer deposits rupees 12,000 in that bank. After how many years will his deposit becomes rupees 18,000? That means the simple interest should be 6,000, right? Okay, because the amount is initially principal is 12,000 and 6,000 is added, then the final amount after some time it becomes 18,000, right? Now 6,000 is what? That is 50% of 12,000, right? So the total interest is what? 50%. Now the interest is 12% per annum. So 50 by 12, if we see, so that's 12 into 4, 48. That means 4 years, and then we are left with 2%. So that will be 1/6 of the year. So 4 years, 2 months must be the period. So that's none of these over here. Okay. I repeat. The interest portion is 6,000 rupees, and 6,000 rupees is accrued in several years, right? That we have to find out, right? Now 6,000 is what? 50% of 12,000. That means precisely 50% amount is being obtained after X years, suppose, right? Now 12% per annum is the simple interest. So in 4 year, 48% amount will be obtained, right? But we are getting 50%, right? That means 2% more. So 2% of 12, 2 is what? 2 by 12. That means 2 months. So for 4 years, 48%, and for remaining 2%, 2 months it will take. So 4 years plus 2 months. Okay. It's a 30-second problem if we are conceptually clear. Okay. Now see this one. On simple interest, an amount becomes rupees 812 in 2 years and rupees 924 in 4 years. What is the rate of interest on that amount? Now, whatever is the amount in principle, that is being 812 in 2 years and 924 in 4 years, right? So principal will remain same. What will be the impact, the change that would be in simple interest only? So from 2 years and 4 years, the difference is 2 years, and the difference in amount is 924 minus 812, that is 112 rupees. So 112 rupees is nothing but the simple interest in 2 years, right? So per annum it is 56 rupees. Okay, so what I do, 56 rupees per annum is the simple interest. That means for 2 years it will be 112. That means principal must be 700, right? 812 minus 112, that is 700 rupees is the amount, or we can say principal. Okay. Now interest is 56. So 56 out of 700 is equal to 8% per annum is the rate of interest. That's pretty simple. Okay, a matter of 40 seconds. Now, an amount doubles itself at the end of 8 years with a certain rate of simple interest. What will be the total simple interest on rupees 8,000 at the end of 4 years? Now, friends, that's pretty simple question. You know, don't need even paper and pen to solve this problem, right? Now, amount is getting doubled at the end of 8 years, and I have already told you several times that simple interest remains same every year, right? Now, in 8 years, if it is getting double, that means in 4 years, see, double means what? 100% addition, right? You started with say 100 rupees, and at the end of 8 years you are getting 100 rupees. That means in all you are getting 200 rupees. So what was the simple interest? That is 100 rupees, right? So in 8 years if you are getting 100 rupees, that means in 4 years you'll be getting 50 rupees. Obviously every year the simple interest remains same, right? So what will, so that is half of the amount, right? So in case of this, 8,000 is the initial amount, that is principal. So in 4 years, if 8 years you'll be getting 8,000, as a simple interest. That means in 4 years you'll be getting 4,000 as a simple interest, right? So there is no need to go for any sort of paperwork. It's a very, very simple concept. Okay, so your answer is 4,000. In 8 years you'll be getting 8,000, so in 4 years you'll be getting 4,000. Now if rupees 3450 is invested at 11.5% per annum simple interest for 2 years, how much interest will be obtained at the end of 2 years? Now 11.5% per annum, that means 23% for 2 years. So precisely what you have to do, you have to find out the 23% of 3450. So that's 34.50 into 23. That's the calculation that you have to do. Okay. Now 34 into 2 is 68. That means your answer must be more than 680, right? So among the options, this and this two are eliminated. Now these two are very closer. So what you can do, you can go by digital root method. That will be pretty simple for you because the difference of 3 and 8 is there. And obviously none of this will not be there because your answer is something around bit less than 800, that you can see from this calculation, right? So 5 and 4 9 and 3 12. So digital root of this is 3 into 3 plus 2 5. That means digital root of this side is 6. So that we can see 9 is cancelled, 7 and 3 10 and 5 15. Digital root is 6 in this case, right? So if it is 6 over here, it cannot be 6 over here. So that's pretty simple. This is your correct answer. Okay. Now, a person invests rupees 2 lakh at 12% per annum for 1 year. If he invests rupees 500 more, he is eligible for 13% per annum interest. How much more interest would he receive if he accepted the second option? Now, there is no need to go for any sort of paperwork. Initially, he is getting 12% of 2 lakh. So that's 24,000 rupees, right? So in the first case, he is getting the interest is 24,000 rupees. Now, in the second case, first we calculate the 13% for 2 lakh, that is 26k. Then plus on rupees 500, 13%, that will be 65 rupees. Okay, so 24,000 and here 26,065 rupees. So the difference is 2,065 rupees. That's pretty simple. Okay, a 30-second problem. Now let's see this problem. An amount of rupees 10,000 becomes 14641 in 2 years. If the interest is compounded half yearly, what is the compound interest per annum? Now that's pretty simple question. You don't need even paper and pen. First of all, you should be able to recall that 14641 is 11 raised to 4, right? Now 10,000 is becoming 14641 in 2 years and the interest is compounded half yearly, right? Now you can easily relate that the rate of interest for half year must be 10%, right? That's why that's 110% of this amount for 4 times, right? 110%, 10,000, 110%, that means this. For 4 times we are getting this amount, right? That is 1.1 raised to 4 of 10,000 is 14641, right? That means the rate of interest for 6 months is nothing but 10%. That means per annum it is 20%. This is the one way to solve this problem, and the other way, right? This way you can go, and the otherwise what you can do is you can get an around idea, right? 10,000 for 2 years you are getting the difference as 4641, right, as an interest. Okay, that means for 1 year it is around 2300. I'm just telling around, right? 2300 in 1 year. That means in 6 months the interest must be around 1100. Okay, or if you see per annum, if it is 2300, that means it has to be around 20%, and because it is compound interest it will be bit more than 20%, right? So 10,000, 20% of 10,000 is 2,000 and it is bit more than that. That means we are correct. So 20% is the correct choice, okay, for per annum. And just listen to the explanation once again if it is not clear, because that's pretty simple problem. It should not take more than 20-25 seconds to solve, right? Now once again, compound interest accrued on an amount of rupees 15,000 in 2 years is rupees 2496. What is the rate of interest per annum? Now once again, a pretty simple problem. In 2 years the interest is 2496, that is around 2,500. That means per annum it is something around 1200 or we can say 1250, right? Now 15,000 8% of 15,000 is what? 1200 rupees. And our amount is 12,015, because since it is compound interest, it should be more than 1200, obviously, right? So the most closest option is 8%. You can even cross verify by actual calculation, but that is actually no need. 8% would be the correct choice. Okay. See, compound interest is not same every year, but since the options are 6, 8 and 10%, I'm just trying to get an around idea of the rate of interest, right? So I just repeat here once again. In 2 years, it is 2496, that is around 2500. That means for 1 year, it will be around 1250, right? Now 8% of 15,000 is 1200, right? As a simple interest, right? But since here we are discussing compound interest, so the compound interest will be more than 1200. So that's we are getting 1250 something around, right? So 8% is the correct choice, because the other options are quite far from this and cannot be determined, and none of this cannot be answer, because we are very close to 8% even in approximate calculation. If you go for the actual calculation, you'll be getting the same answer. Okay, so precisely your calculation is 15,000 into 1.08 square. Okay, and that would give you 15,000 plus 2496, that is 17,496. You can match it easily. I hope you are getting me. Now see this question. Difference between the compound interest and the simple interest accrued in 2 years at 8% per annum is rupees 128. What is the principal amount? Now friends, before we proceed further, I would just like to make clear over here. You might have attended the basic sessions of compound interest and simple interest. Actually, compound interest is nothing but the interest on interest after first year, right? Now suppose I just give you the concept once again. Suppose 100 rupees is the principal and the rate of interest is say 10%. So after 1 year, the amount will be 110 rupees, right? Now if we go for the compound interest, next year the interest will be charged on 110 rupees. Instead of 100 rupees, now our principal will be 110 rupees if we talk about compound interest. And if we talk about simple interest, then interest will be further charged on 100 rupees, right? So we see the difference. If the interest is charged on 100 rupees, still you will be getting 110 as the amount, or 10 rupees as the interest. Interest is 10 rupees, interest is 10 rupees. But if interest is charged on this amount 110 rupees, then 110 rupees at the rate of 10%, the amount will be 121. That means the interest charged is 21 rupees. So you can see, if we talk about 2 years, if we go by simple interest, the interest for the 2 years will be 20 rupees, and if we go by a compound interest for 2 years will be 21 rupees. So the 1 rupee compound interest is more. Okay, so precisely compound interest is nothing but the interest on interest, right? If we take, see in this case, if we I just delete this, see this is the interest for the second year on principal, right? That will be same. But apart from that, if we talk about compound interest, that is interest on interest. That means 10% interest on this interest of rupees 10 that accrued in the first year, right? So 10% of 10, that is rupee 1. So that is 10 plus 10, 20 plus 1, 21 rupees, right? So simple interest for first year, simple interest for second year, plus simple interest on simple interest of first year, right? So that is actually compound interest. Okay, the same funda we are going to use over here, right? So just listen to me carefully. See friends, when we have to do the problems based on compound interest and simple interest, what I would suggest, do not go for too much usage of formula, because simple around idea, that would be helpful for you to solve the problems in limited time, because time is the biggest restriction in all competitive exams, right? Now among the options, I just choose a comfortable option, and I'll try to get an idea whether the actual that we the calculation is above or below this particular option. Okay, now listen to me very carefully. What I'm choosing over here is the 20,000. I'm not I don't know whether this is correct option or not, but it will give me around idea that my actual answer is above or below that, right? So suppose 20,000 is the correct option. Now what? See, as far as simple interest is concerned, it will be same for every year, right? So 8% per annum, that means 16% for 2 years. So simple interest for 20,000 for 2 years will be 16% of the 20,000, that is 3200, right? And if we talk about compound interest, simple interest for first year is 1600, simple interest for second year is 1600, but we have to take compound interest. That means we have to charge 8% on this amount, that is interest on first year, right? So 8% of 1600 is what? 128, right? Now you can see this is 3200 and this 128 rupees is extra. Okay, so our calculation is verified over here, right? So 20,000 is the correct choice. Okay, so this way you can solve this problem very easily. Okay, now if we had chosen any number other than 20,000, suppose I had chosen a number 25,000, right? So whatever the calculation I'm getting over here will be more than 128, right? I just show you 25,000, 8% per annum. That means for 2 year it is 16% of 25,000. So that's 4,000, right? So per annum it is 2000, then 2000, then simple interest on this 2000 at the rate of 8% per annum will give you 160 rupees as the difference. Okay, but we want the difference to be 128. Okay, so that's pretty simple. So even if you have to check two options, then also it will be very easy for you to solve, right? Apart from that, I can give you the formula also if you are interested. CI minus SI for 2 years is equal to PR square by 100 square. You can use direct formula, but I less recommend the formula because that's really time consuming. So CI minus SI is given to us as 128. So 128 is equal to P into 64 by 100 into 100. Okay, so PI is 20,000. Okay, you can use this formula also. So formula can be used, but in case of 3 years or 4 years or more period, it will be difficult to use. So you need to be conceptually clear exactly what is a compound interest. That is nothing but interest on interest. Okay, so direct formula can be used. You can go this way also. Okay. Now this problem, a certain sum becomes rupees 2735 in 3 years and rupees 3008.5 in 4 years at CI. What is the rate of interest? Now that's pretty simple. I assume the principal to be P. So in 4 years, the amount will be 1 plus R raised to 4, that is 3008.5, right? And in 3 years, it will be P 1 plus R whole cube, and that's 2735, right? I divide both of them. So 1 plus R is this, that means R will be, rate of interest will be 3008.5, and from this entire calculation we need to deduct 1. Okay, so that will be getting R. So that's 2735, the 3008.5 minus 2735, that is 273.5 by 2735, that's 10%. Okay, pretty simple, can be done in 40 seconds. Now this question, the simple interest accrued on an amount of rupees 19,800 at the end of 3 years is rupees this. What will be the CI accrued? Okay, so we need to find out the rate of interest first of all. So for 3 years, if it is 7128, then the per annum interest will be 7128 divided by 3, right? So I divide it by 3. Okay, so this is the interest per annum. Okay, and that is 198. If I find out what is the rate of interest, I'll be able to calculate that. So 198 into 10 is 1980. 198 into 2 is 396. So this is actually just 12 times. Okay, so rate of interest is 12%. Now what would be the CI accrued on the same amount? That we have to find out, right, in 3 years. So precisely our calculation is 19800 1.12 whole cube minus 1. Okay. Now friends, there are two ways before you. Either you solve this, that will be really tedious and lengthy time, and I'm sorry, time consuming, or you can get around idea of this calculation. Just listen to me carefully. See, so simple interest is this. That means compound interest should be definitely more than that. So we eliminate this option. Okay. Now apart from that, the per annum interest is 2376. Just listen to me carefully. After that you need to practice with such methods, right? See, per annum 2376 is the simple interest, right? Now what is happening over here? Rate of interest that we have already calculated. So for first year the rate of it's on 2376 at 12%, something around 300 rupees we can save, bit less than 300 but around 300, right? For the second year also 300, for the third year also 300, and after that we'll be adding interest on this and interest on this and interest on this for two time and for this time. So around we can say maybe 200 more we can add, right? So the calculation, entire calculation should not exceed 7128 plus around 1000. That means it should not exceed at any case 8200. Okay, so this option is eliminated. Now we have these two options. Okay, this is very closer, I'm sure for this, but let's cross verify. Let's do it. So what you can do is this number 19800 is multiple of 11, right? And as well as it is multiple of 9. So this calculation will give you the answer which is multiple of 11 and 9 both as well, right? So quickly see this, whether this number is multiple of 9 and 11 both, because see, this is a complete calculation, right? After decimal even up to 4 digits it has been given. That means the answer is not at all approximated. Okay, so our answer should be multiple of 9, I'm sure for this. So let's check this. 9, 8 plus 1 9, 5 and 4 9, 7 and 4 11 and 7 18. That means this number is definitely multiple of 9. Even if you wish to go for cross verification once again, then just see whether this number is multiple of 11 or not. So 8 9 and 5 14 and 4 18. Then see 18, and that's 7 plus 4 11 and 7 18. 18 minus 18 is 0, and then we add this. So 18 minus 18 precisely it is 0. So that means this number is multiple of 11 and 9 both as well. Okay, so this is the correct choice, and you should be able to get the around idea because there is an option none of these over here. Okay, so I hope you are getting it. See, to be able to apply the techniques you need to be doing some good practice. Okay, honestly. Now see this problem. The compound interest accrued on an amount at the end of 3 years at 15% per annum is rupees this. What is the amount? Now obviously if we use the formula, your amount will be P 1.15 whole cube minus 1. Okay, and that is actually 6500.50. We have to calculate the value of P. Now that would be really difficult if we go manually, because 1.15 cube you have to calculate, then you need to deduct 1, then this entire calculation you have to like this will be the divisor and you have to divide this expression by this, so that will be really time consuming. So what I suggest you just can go and just take an around idea. Suppose I choose option 1. The basic I have already discussed in the previous questions. 15% per annum is the interest. Suppose 12,000, this is 12,480, I'm taking it 12,500 to get an around idea. Now if 12,500 is the basic amount, then 15% per annum, so 12,500 and 15% will be 1250 plus 625, 1875 per annum will be the interest, right? So for 3 years that will be the interest. Now if we talk about the compound interest, this year in the second year we have to add the interest of 1875 at the rate of 15% also. So 18 into 15, something around 270 rupees, around I'm taking, and in this year we have to add the interest of this 1875 and 1875 plus 270, so something around 300, but more than that, right? If you add up all of them, 1875 3 times, that is around 5600. I'm just taking around, and though it is 5625, then 540 plus 300. So that is 840. So if you add both of them, you'll be getting something around 6500, right? And other options are quite far from 12480, right? So this is the closest option, and that's correct answer. Okay? Or if at all you don't want to use this method, then I just tell you the other method also. And that case, we'll be taking this expression. Just listen to me carefully. So this is 1.15 whole cube, right? This can be written as 1 plus 0.15 whole cube, right? Now a plus b whole cube, this expression, I'm just telling you the expansion, but that you have to keep in your mind once for all. You don't have to write it again and again, right? Now this is a plus b whole cube is a cube plus b cube plus 3ab, so 3 into 0.15 plus 3ab square and plus b cube, right? That is 0.15 whole cube. So, and this is minus 1 over here, right? Now what is happening over here? This one and this one is cancelled, and 0.15 whole cube will be a very small quantity, so I just neglect this. Now we are left with this 0.45 and plus 0.15 square, sorry, 3ab square. So 0.15 square is 0.0225, 0.0225 is 0.0675. So 0.0675. So that is 0.5175. That means around 0.52. Okay. So P into 0.52 is 6500. Just divide this. 13 fours are 13,500. So P will be 25 into 500, that is 12,500, right? And the logic behind this is expansion. Whenever you have to do the problems based on this compound interest, and you wish to use the formula, then the same funda can be used. 1 plus 0.15 whole cube will be a cube. 3 into a into b plus 3ab square, and the next term is not at all required. You can eliminate this, right? And always there will be a minus 1 in the calculation, because to find out the compound interest we need to deduct 1. Okay, that means p is actually common, so you deduct 1, this one and this one will be cancelled. Okay, so you are left with this much calculation. So that will be really easy for you. Instead of calculating 1.15 whole cube and then you deduct 1, right? So instead of calculating total 1.15 whole cube, we delete this portion, because 0.15 whole cube will be a very small quantity, and since options are like maintaining a difference of 1000, so if you neglect that, that will not make any impact. Okay, so you can take an approximate idea of the calculation, or you can go this way, right? Both the methods are acceptable. I hope that's clear to you. Same funda I'll be using over here. Here, what will be the compound interest on this sum after 3 years at the rate of 12% per annum? So what you have to do? 25,000. That's 1.12 whole cube minus 1 you have to do, right? So precisely 1.12 whole cube we need to calculate. So that is 1 plus 0.12 whole cube. You don't have to write this expression. You can directly put up the value over here, right? So that is 1 plus 0.12 square, that is, I'm sorry, a cube plus 3ab. So 3 into 0.12 plus 3 into b 3ab square, so 0.0144 and then plus 1. So this is 0.36 and this is 3 fours are 12, 3 fours are 12 and 1 13, 3 this, right? So this is 0.3932, or we can say approximately 0.4, right? So this entire calculation is 0.4. We have deducted this one and this one is cancelled. So 25,000 into 0.4, that's 2500 into 4, that's 10,000, right? So the option closest to this will be 10,10123. Why we will be taking higher side value? Because we have eliminated 0.12 whole cube, right? And that's a positive quantity, so that will take this value to bit higher side. right? And the difference you can see that's around 123 rupees difference is there. Other option is quite far from this. Okay, so you don't have to worry, this will be the correct choice. So that is called the approximation method to find out the compound interest, right? You can practice with this method because you'll be able to save a lot of time if you use this method, right? And what I told you is instead of writing it separately, you directly write this expression in the exam. I just show you 25,000 and your calculation is 1.12 whole cube minus 1, right? So that is 1 is already deducted, so that's 3 into 0.12 and plus 3 into 0.0144. So this will give you zero point 0.4 as calculation, and the 1 over here and this one is already deducted. So directly you will be able to do this. Okay, so avoid this step. This is just for your understanding. Okay, I hope that's clear to you.